If you want a second vid on the weird Titan build, please let me know by writing "show me the anti-Titan Titan." Damn, alright already. Sheesh. My command is your wish, you bunch of nerds. Hi, my name is Fallout, and today I'm going to show you legit one of the most non-Titan Titan builds I've ever used. It's wildly entertaining. Let's go! And it works in both PvP and PvE, although to be fair, I've been enjoying it a tad more in PvP for sure. Today's vid, it's got it all, boys. Explanation of why the build works, top shelf degen clips, and of course a detailed breakdown so you can steal this build and use it on your own should you choose to do so. But before we get going, I want to give a big shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Raycon Everyday Earbuds. With optimized gel tips for the perfect in-ear fit, these earbuds are comfortable AF. Also, are you worried that they'll fall out of your ear when you're working out or moving around? Don't. They will not budge. See? They offer 8 hours of playtime and a 32-hour battery life. These things are priced just right. Quality audio at half the price of other premium audio brands. It's no wonder that Raycon's everyday earbuds have over 50,000 5-star reviews. Sound quality is top shelf, by the way. Enjoy your music and videos with quality stereo sound enhancement with passive noise isolation. Just you and whatever you're listening to. Raycon earbuds also block out background noise like you wouldn't believe, making it easier to focus on your work, hobbies, fitness, whatever. On top of that, these things are sweat and water resistant. Being left outside in the rain for a little bit, or the occasional, whoops, I left it in my pocket and put it through the old washing machine ordeal, these things can take it. Click the link down in the video description box or go to buyraycon.com/fallout to get 15% off your Raycon purchase. Again, buyraycon.com/fallout for 15% off your purchase. Thank you, Raycon. All right, back to the content. When I think of the Titan power fantasy, I think of my first Arc 3.0 Titan build. An aggro frontline maniac, charging headlong around the map with a juggernaut shield, sliding and punching people in the face. A close range warrior. Today's build is not that fantasy. If today's Titan had a motto, it would be, "I've asked you nicely to stay away from me." This Titan doesn't like social events, and when he is invited, he kinda hangs off on the outside of the party, quietly bobbing to the music and vibing in his own lone wolf way. And so will be our playstyle. The game plan is to bombard enemies with some of the most oppressive grenades known to the meta, Touch of Thunder storm grenades. If you didn't know, check it out. After detonating, Touch of Thunder turns your storm grenade into a roaming thundercloud that tracks nearby targets. Other grenades have unique benefits from Touch of Thunder, but the Storm is my favorite pairing. The tracking is actually fairly generous, and sometimes Storm grenades are so oddly subtle that people often get trapped in them without realizing what they're being damaged by. It's very common with this build to yeet a nade into a crowded hallway, walk away for a few seconds, and get one or many kills. So as you can imagine, grenade abuse will be the core of today's build. Outside of that, we're going to add extra tools to really go full-on zone denial. To top it all off, weapons that complement mid to long range playstyle. Touch of Thunder is the main aspect for me, but I also like to slap on Knockout for the simple reason that it gives 2 fragment slots, whereas Juggernaut only gives 1. Also, Knockout can help you bash someone in the mouth if they get too close to you, and I'm not going to be running into crowds of people with today's build, so no Juggernaut needed here. Fragment wise, I go with the following 4. Spark of Shock. Even though you get a 10 discipline penalty, being able to jolt targets with our Storm Grenade can be fun and can lead to a lot of extra mayhem. Spark of Ions pairs well with Shock. Now after defeating a jolted target, we can get an Ionic Trace. So tag an enemy with a grenade, jolt them, kill them, bam, Ionic Trace, aka shorter recharge time. Spark of Recharge. While critically wounded, we'll get even more grenade energy coming back our way, which is great. And Spark of Magnitude. Your lingering arc grenades will have extended duration, yes please. For the Titan ability, Thruster all day. Now you might be thinking, hey Fallout, you sexy animal, why not go with Barricade if this is a very defensive, stay out of the fray Titan? Fair point, but I like Thruster on this build for 2 reasons. 1, you can use it to dodge out of an enemy's scope if you're taking too much damage, and 2, it technically has the shortest cooldown time of all 3 options. Yeah, by a whopping 2 seconds compared to Rally Barricade, but still, as I'll show you soon, we're going to be pairing this with Bomber, meaning every time you use your Thruster ability, you're jumpstarting your grenade recharge time. My plan in combat is usually throw a grenade, cause mayhem, and even if I don't really need to, activate my thruster no matter what to activate bomber and make my grenade come back quicker. For the melee ability, do what you want, but holy shit, do I love Thunderclap with this build. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, gals, and non-binary pals, you're not always gonna get use out of Thunderclap, but there will be times where you're just littering the battlefield with so much garbage the enemy team will have no choice but to run through a choke point into your waiting arms. Hard reading the enemy with Thunderclap is legit better than sex. Please run it on this build and send me clips on Twitter when you get a kill with it. The biggest decision you'll have to make with today's build is what exotic armor are you gonna put on? In my mind, there's really only two options. You got Heart of Inmost Light and you got Armamentarium. There's advantages and drawbacks to each, which I'll go over now. After spending way too much time recording in a private lobby, I have an unholy amount of grenade recharge timers. I'm not gonna make my poor editor type all that crap up. So Maggie, give him a quick screenshot from today's script of all the timers I wanted to get numbers for. Thank you, Maggie. Let me simplify all the findings for you. If you want the fastest possible recharge time on your grenade in general, go Heart of Inmost Light. Heart has 2 extra regen factors going in its favor. One is from the exotic perk itself. After throwing a grenade, use either your melee or class ability to give your nade recharge time a quick boost. The second factor is from the armor mod Grenade Kickstart. Grenade Kickstart doesn't work on your first grenade if it's being used on an exotic that gives you a second grenade charge like the Armamentarium. TLDR, Heart of Inmost Light can always take advantage of Grenade Kickstart. Armamentarium won't unless you throw both your nades back to back. With Kickstart, tier 10 Discipline, Heart's exotic perk kicking in, and Lightning Strikes Twice, a mod I'll cover shortly, you can bring your nade cooldown time to a spicy 30 seconds and 40 frames. Hell to the yeah. Armamentarium with tier 10 Discipline and Lightning Strikes Twice can get the cooldown time on a single nade down to not as spicy, but still very good, 35 seconds and 37 frames. It's also important to keep in mind that Armamentarium gives you 2 grenade charges, which is big. Some people may point to Heart of Inmost Light for the extra damage buff, i.e. after using your thruster or melee, your storm grenade will then become stronger, which is true, but I compare the damage numbers and after only using one ability, the damage doesn't really ramp up to an insane amount. Your storm grenade by default does 71, 51, 41, then 36 damage. That alone right there is 199 damage on 4 ticks, which should be able to kill all but the beefiest guardians in PvP. Under the effect of Heart, your boosted storm nade will instead do 78, 56, 45, and 44 damage. Definitely nicer for both finishing beefy 10 Resil Guardians and finishing off weaker players quicker. I tried both a fair amount and I've finally settled on Armamentarium. 5-second faster grenade cooldown is cool, but IMO, I love having 2 grenades for this build. You can harass people way more frequently, and to me, that's kind of the entire point. Armor mods and stat distribution. Tier 10 Discipline is obviously a must. Consult D2 Armor Picker if you need help putting together your build. On your Gauntlet armor, Grenade Kickstart, but only if you're rocking Heart of Inmost Light. Again, it'll only help your Armamentarium if you burn both grenades back to back, which I guess you could leave it on if you have nothing else to use in that slot. And of course, Fastball, because chuck that nade further with less effort, baby, you're a jacked up Titan with a cannon for an arm. If you have the ability to, you could always run Ashes to Assets on your helmet. Lord knows you're going to be getting grenade kills with this build, might as well get a little extra mileage out of it. On your leg armor, Innervation if you can. Probably won't always come in to help you, but why not? Your Titan Mark is going to have 2 important armor mods, Bomber and Lightning Strikes Twice. We already covered Bomber. Use your Titan Thrust to improve your grenade regen time after throwing. Why don't we talk about Lightning Strikes Twice? It's an expensive mod for sure, and it doesn't wildly help out your grenade cooldown time if you're at tier 10 Discipline already. Take a look at these 3 recharge times. When an Armamentarium Titan throws a grenade with just tier 10 Discipline, the cooldown time on that nade is about 40 seconds and 14 frames. Put on Lightning Strikes Twice and the timer drops to 37 seconds and 20 frames. 3 seconds shaved off is not too wild, but why not take it, right? Final time is 35 seconds and 37 frames, which is what happens when you not only throw a nade with Lightning Strikes Twice, but get a kill as well. See, the nice thing about Lightning Strikes Twice is that any arc damage kill will extend the timer of Lightning Strikes Twice by about 3 seconds in PvP. That includes arc weapon damage, by the way. In this one clip, I kill my friend with a grenade, adding 3 seconds to the timer, then I shoot a different friend with an arc hand cannon, and upon getting the kill, 3 more seconds added back to the timer. Not a huge deal, but hey, we take what we can get out here. Weapon-wise, you can use whatever you want, but I am hard recommending Witherhoard for the memes. What we have here is an area denial zone Titan, and Witherhoard plays into that role very well. In a crowded enough area, you'll make it so the other player barely has any room to move around at all. If you go the Witherhoard route, try to pair it together with an arc primary in order to maybe get more mileage out of Lightning Strikes Twice. Or you could always do any primary with Demolitionist. If you have one, the Insidious Pulse Rifle was made for this build. It has the potential to drop with both Demolitionist and Adrenaline Junkie at the same time, and it's an arc weapon. Oh, did I mention it's also fully craftable? I feel as though I've said too much. Let's move on. If you're not a fan of Witherhoard and would rather go with something boring like a shotgun or a fusion rifle, might I recommend putting on the Dead Man's Tail. The Anti-Titan Titan does not get involved in up-close battles. You harass your enemy from mid to long range, and with a DMT, my god, will you do that effectively. Yeah, the gun has gotten a few nerfs, but it still feels great, and you'll be punching holes in the other team from downtown with no problem. If you want to take the build into PvE, go for it. If you're in any activity with an arc burn, you are going to have a great time. Elemental well mods are the play here for sure. Multiple elemental ordnance paired together with both bountiful wells and seeking wells, and you are set for life. Start throwing grenades into the crowd and just never look back. Weapon-wise for PvE, I'd recommend either Cold Heart or the all-new Delicate Tomb Fusion Rifle for their ability to generate an ionic trace. If you have any clips, I would love to see them on Twitter, as always, including any feedback you might have about the build. Be nice to people when Zone Trials comes around. This loadout may have the ability to literally break a man's spirit, but then again, it'll be hard to see, unless you're watching gleefully through a DMT scope. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on stream.